When you're talking with your friends, and I especially experience this with my girlfriends, and they're talking about their husbands or they're talking about their new dates, if they've been divorced and they're marrying again, or they never married and they're just dating, a topic that often comes up is the ick. And a lot of women that I've talked with have felt it. I don't know if men feel it as much. The literature isn't very complete in this area at all. But I do know women feel it, and I know I've felt it. There's things that happen that just make you feel repulsed for your partner. And when I actually have experienced it personally, it's usually something superficial, and it's usually a grooming thing they'll do. That when I see it, it just it repulses me, it grosses me out, and I don't want to even think of that person as my romantic partner. It's not something I choose. It's not something coming from something deeper. It just is what I visualize and then how I react. For many women, and I'm like, again, I'm not saying that I've talked to a lot of men who get this. I think women are more sensitive to things. Our olfactory centers are more developed. Maybe it's just a sensitivity thing, but they experience it. And oftentimes I'll see it after an affair, especially if the woman has been betrayed. She has an idea who her man is, and if he stoops to a level of lying and betraying her, she will be repulsed by him later. But I also just see it happening when people are dating, or when they're with their husbands for a long time and something comes up and it really disgusts them. And I think what happens is the woman feels so embarrassed, or she feels so shameful about it because it seems superficial, that she doesn't talk about it. And I'm going to encourage you to talk to your partner about it. The reason is because if you don't address the ick, it will just become bigger, and it can actually generalize to other things, making it a bigger problem than what it is. But what I thought might be helpful today is to just go over different personalities that seem to experience the ick more. Okay, what's going on with it? Well, the first thing is individuals with avoidant attachment traits. Now, I'm not saying everybody that gets the ick has avoidant attachment, because I know I have had it, and I'm not an avoidant attacher. But they value autonomy and feel threatened when intimacy deepens. This is one of the primary ways these people respond. They'll get ick because it goes in line with helping them to get too close to anybody. The ick is almost like a defense mechanism, if you will, telling this person, I should pull away, it's not safe. If you have perfectionistic or idealistic ideas when you're dating, people with strong schemas, like how a partner should act, they can develop the ick. And minor deviations from the ideal, like laughing too loudly or dressing a certain way, especially those people who really are very conscientious of how others feel about their partner, they will be more susceptible to the ick. It can trigger a rapid loss of attraction. People with high novelty or newness seeking, they have a low tolerance for ambiguity. So they enjoy the chase but feel ick when things stabilize or become routine. And it's linked with high impulsivity, like sometimes anxious, avoidant type cycling. These people will be more prone to getting the ick. It becomes like a warning system in their body. Or those with unresolved trauma. Now, I have seen trauma present as ick, like things that weren't resolved in your childhood. Maybe you were hurt, maybe you were sexually attacked or something. Then many times those people, if that's not resolved, something their partner does or their date does can just be totally disgusting for them. And it helps them move away. In that sense, it's kind of a safety mechanism. Some reminders of past negative experiences, this can be a tone of voice, a smell, a gesture can create a disproportionate type of aversion. And the ick here functions more like a trauma trigger. So the same therapy I would do to help with trauma triggers, I would do with the ick from trauma that is coming from trauma in a person's childhood. So when does the ick usually present? Early dating. So when you're dating someone, the most popular time you'll get this repulsion is in the first 2 to 6 weeks. And that makes sense. This is when you're getting intimate with them. So if you had an avoidant attachment, this is usually when the defense mechanism of ick would raise its head and alert you. So it often coincides with the transition from lust or infatuation to real compatibility. And that makes total sense. When vulnerability increases after someone expresses genuine attention, talks, future, or makes himself emotionally available, then the partner's openness, that vulnerability, can trigger those who fear intimacy. And you may have heard this, like different women will say he started crying and it just gave me the ick, like I was repulsed, like don't cry. This is their baggage, like this is something they need to work through. Their partner is completely normal and it's an appropriate feeling to be vulnerable and cry, but they couldn't stand it because what they have inside that they haven't let go of. During physical closeness milestones, sometimes post-sex, after spending extended unstructured time together, the ick will present. Once again, you've gotten really close, you feel vulnerable, and that's when you're repulsed by your partner. Daily habits or bodily quirks become more visible the longer you're with the person, which can spark that reaction like, oh my God, that is so gross. And after idealization cracks, if someone placed the partner on a pedestal, the ick may hit once they act in a human, fallible way. And this certainly is true if your partner ever betrays you, because you will be repulsed by them at some time after that. The other time I've seen this happen more so lately is with older couples when one of them has a major health crisis, like a stroke or cancer or something like that. Sometimes when you're the caretaker, different things their body do or they do with their body or quirks, it can just repulse you. And what that is signaling to you is you need to step back. You need to have someone who is taking care of their bodily needs so you aren't responsible for that, so that you can keep loving them, feeling attracted to them, and supporting them as your mate. If this is helpful for you, please subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much.